Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So we've created a couple videos recently where we have some tutorials on how to create a meeting room. Then we made one on how to create a seminar room and get that scheduled. And we left out training. So just in case anyone's brand new to Connect, have no idea where to go, what to do, we just wanted to give you guys an easy tutorial as well. The wizards themselves in creating these Connect rooms is very similar, but again, we wanted to show virtual classrooms some love as well. So again, this video is going to apply to anyone that has been assigned a virtual classroom manager. That's the actual technical name of the license itself. And while you might be tempted to click on meetings or maybe seminars, you are in fact going to be living under the training tab. So I'll go ahead and click on the training category up at the top. And next to new curriculum course, you're going to see a button that says new virtual classroom. So this is what we're actually going to go ahead and select. We'll go ahead and click on that. The wizard's going to pop up, and we'll go ahead and name our room. So we'll name our classroom here. You can actually name this, obviously whatever you want. I think you'll always be able to come back and change this as well. However, once we create an actual URL for this Connect room, that will be set in stone forever. So we can always come back and change the name, but again, you cannot change the URL once you customize it. So let's go ahead and call this virtual classroom. Oh dang, I don't even know. Kyle's, I think I've already got a couple of these named as such, so I'll try it number 5 maybe. The classroom ID, this is used for the catalog purposes, which we're not talking about today, so we can actually leave that blank there. We're going to customize the URL. I'm going to call it Kyle class number 5. Definitely customize these URLs. It'll help you navigate, especially if you want to create multiple Connect rooms. It'll help you reference which link is going to which room. Now the summary, this is also something that I usually never touch, never deal with, so you can certainly leave this blank if you want to. The start time and duration, this is going to sort of matter if you want to leverage either the course catalog. Again, today we're just going to treat this as just sort of a naked virtual classroom session on its own without registration, without enrolling students or anything to that effect. I like to steer clear from the on-demand self-paced learning of Adobe Connect, just as there are newer solutions and better solutions available. So if you're looking to do any sort of on-demand stuff, I highly recommend you check out Captivate Prime. That's Adobe's newest in terms of learning management systems. However, we can still obviously leverage Connect as sort of the virtual classroom delivery tool to accommodate those live trainings. But these rooms are persistent. So what I mean by that is they're open to you 24/7, 365. If I waltz into my Connect room, at 3 o'clock, that room is then going to open up and be active, and I'm going to be able to accommodate 199 other attendees in my session. So these Connect classrooms hold 200 people max, and as long as a host, as long as the licensed user is present in the room, that room then is active, and students and attendees can join the session. So again, I honestly don't touch this too often. This is used in Connect's internal invitation system and some other areas that, again, we're not really going to talk about today. So if you want to invite people to your class, the only thing they need is this link, and this is usually what I will send them via Outlook. I usually like to do Outlook meeting invites for my sessions personally. Obviously, you can leverage Connect's internal invitation system if you want as well. That will just require you to actually import every single one of your students to do so. So I'm going to skip summary, skip the start time, skip the duration. For the templates, I'm actually going to be making a video here pretty soon on how to do Adobe Connect templates, what they are. We're going to leave that at the default template as is. Language, you've got English, you've got some other options as well that you can check out if this interests you. I'm going to leave it at English myself. And then we're going to get to access. So the first default option that's checked off is enrolled students only. That means in our next step here, as we're going through and enrolling learners, if you're not on this list, you are not getting into the room. Really handy for if you're doing registration or if you are creating a course through Adobe Connect. Again, today we're not really doing that, so I'm going to opt for accepted guests may enter the room. This is where you're sort of like the bouncer outside the club. If someone tries to join your room, you're going to see a notification with the name that they wrote down to join as a guest, and you have the option to either accept them, deny them, or take no action. Just sort of leave them in limbo, and maybe you'll do something with them later on if you want. So you can either leverage this option or the last one, which is anyone who has that link can join the session without any barrier to entry. And if you want to add an optional password to any of these configuration options, you can do so. And that'll effectively double your different accessibility options there. So that's that. We're going to scroll down a little bit more. And application and browser interface settings, we're going to leave this to standard. This is the newest and greatest for Adobe Connect's application. You don't want to change this. You're going to leave that here. But you will want to ask yourself if you want to allow for browser access. Things to think about. Browser access is nice because your attendees can come in download free. But if we're working in a virtual classroom, chances are you're going to be probably trying to deliver, some sort of virtual classroom training, an engaging experience, right? And the more engaging these sessions are, the more that you're going to want to lean towards actually leveraging the Adobe Connect application. It's a one-time small download, and if an attendee clicks on an Adobe Connect link and they do not have it installed, it'll prompt them to install it. Or if you have the browser access checked, it'll give them the option to not download, but actually join through their mobile browser there. So again, by checking this off, attendees can do either the application or the browser. By unchecking this, we can actually force our attendees to come in through the application. And my recommendation is, if it's a highly engaging training, you're doing a virtual classroom type of situation where people are drawing on whiteboards, people are actually interacting with the room, you're going to want to uncheck browser access. There's two big limitations with browser access. When you're in the browser view of Adobe Connect, you cannot see more than 2 webcams at a time. Oftentimes, classes like to have everyone on the webcam just to enhance engagement. And then the other major limitation is if you're in the web browser, you will not be able to screen share your computer. So if a student needs to showcase a project they're working on their machine or whatever the case may be, they want to showcase something and share that information with the session. If they're in the browser, again, they can't do that. It'll prompt them to download the app. Again, highly recommend if you guys are doing trainings, uncheck browser access. If it's more of an informational session where people aren't really engaging, they're just sort of passively listening and ingesting the information you're putting out there, then browser access is fine. So that's that. We also have this enhanced audio. This is using the Opus codec, same audio codec that some of the other major players in the space are using. Just note that there's some temporary limitations with this new audio codec. Folks cannot join from mobile apps, and you will not be able to make your recordings offline MP4s if you have this enabled. So check that on or off. Again, if you expect your students to come in through their mobile devices, I would probably uncheck this. Same thing with you if you're expecting to host your own recordings outside of Connect. You'll need to make those offline and download those. And so again, you can't do that if this codec is on. This classic view right here, majority of you folks are probably going to ignore it unless your agency is still approving the newest hosted version of Connect. You guys might need to use classic view, but like I said, a majority of you folks are not going to bother. The classic view is the old version of Connect. It's an outdated looking interface. It's not very aesthetic. So again, if you want to keep with the times, keep using standard view. And we'll scroll down a little bit further. Room suspension, I've honestly never used this personally, but if you guys want to check that out, I'm going to go ahead and skip over that, but there's some information there to kind of tell you what that feature is all about and when that might be helpful. We're going to come down to our audio conference settings. If you want to do a computer audio, which means headsets, microphones, you're going to select the first option. It can be a little confusing because it says do not include any audio, but if you see here in the parentheses, it says select this option to create a VoIP-only session. So we're going to go ahead and do that. If you'd like to introduce telephony to the mix, we're going to go ahead and check off the second option. and then we'll be able to create an audio profile and associate that conference line with that audio profile with this room. If you're not sure on how to do this, we'll have a video out. We do have a video already, but we're making a new one too, just to refresh some of the resources we have with Adobe Connect 11. So be on the lookout for that. This third option right here, include this audio. This in no way, shape, or form will help you connect audio to your Connect room, no pun intended. This is literally just a visual guide for people to dial into a number, but if you record your sessions, it'll be a mute recording. So I always tell folks, ignore this third option here. Stick with the first one for your VoIP sessions, or stick with the second one if you want to add a conference line to your Connect room here. Now, normally I would just click finish and be done, but if we go ahead and click next, it's going to show us our ability to, let's see, my wooden computer would hurry up. This is going to show us the area where we can enroll learners. So this is the same thing if you guys have ever used meeting rooms or seminar rooms. This is the same thing as sort of registering people to your room. In order for them to appear on this left-hand side list, you have to create these people as users in your Connect system. We've also got a video on that, so be sure to check that out. You'll just need to be at least an administrator. But if I wanted to search my colleague the Wolf and I wanted to add him to the room, click his name, click add. I can either set him up as a participant because I know he's going to be an attendee at my session, or if he's going to be a co-trainer with me on that training, I can actually set his role as a host. And that way he'll be able to come in with the same permissions and powers as I will when we join that actual Connect session. So this is an easy way to set up other licensed users, or again, set up participants that you know specifically you want to be coming to this training. I'm going to remove him so he doesn't get an annoying notification. And that's it. When it comes to creating a virtual class, I'll click finish. My room is created. Again, here's the link to the room. This is the only thing that I'll need to send out to folks in order to join it. We can click edit information if we want to. Again, you can go back and change anything that you want in terms of the setup of this room except for the URL. As we mentioned earlier, there is no URL here. I can check out what content I've uploaded here. I can check out where my recordings are over in this category area, and then reports as well. So you can look up at reports by attendees, course, session, and questions. Questions would involve polling questions that you do inside your session. And then if you're looking for attendance records, by session is going to be the best way to sort of navigate through that. Because if you're like me and you've been using the same Connect room for years, you're going to want that actually partitioned out by the actual session that those folks joined. So that's it. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. Again, we wanted to include a video so that the folks that have access to virtual classroom licenses know where to get started in terms of creating a virtual classroom. If you guys are new to the channel, smash that subscribe button, hit that little bell notification so you guys can stay up to date with all the newest content, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.